Hello students, this is Trishla Jain, TGT English from Birla Vidya Niketan, New Delhi. Today we are going to discuss the key elements of the short story, The Monkey's Paw. I am sure by now all of you must have watched the movie and read the story. This story, written by W. Jacobs, was first published in England in 1902 in the collection The Lady Barge. It is a horror story based on the mystery of a magical monkey's paw. This short story is divided into 3 parts on the basis of the 3 wishes made by Mr. White. The story is set in England at the home of the White family during a dark and stormy night. Their guest, Sergeant Major Morris, who had returned from India, tells them about the mummified monkey's paw, on which a fakir had put a spell. He warns them about the paw and its consequences. In fact, he even tries to burn it. But Mr. White, who seemed to have developed an interest in it, retrieves it from the fireplace and forces him to give it to him and pays him a meager amount for it. The Whites, who do not believe actually in the power of the monkey's paw, make their first wish for just 200 pounds, which they needed to clear their house, thinking that how could 200 pounds harm them in any way. But the very next day, Herbert goes to work and is killed at the factory in a horrible accident. The company sends a messenger with a compensation of exactly the same amount which the Whites had wished for, 200 pounds. Mr. and Mrs. White are flabbergasted. Their family is ruined. Though horrified by the outcome of their first wish being granted, Mrs. White, who was excessively fond of her son, forces her reluctant husband into making the second wish, asking for Herbert to come back to life. Soon we have the dramatic knocking on the door, and Mrs. White eagerly rushes down to welcome her dead son back. Mr. White, who remembers the consequences of the first wish, was sensible enough and makes the third and the last wish. When Mrs. White finally opens the door, nothing is there, as Mr. White's third wish caused whosoever was there to disappear. Dear students, the objective behind teaching this story is not only to improve your language skills, but also to help you understand and identify the use of foreshadowing and situational irony. Let us first understand what is foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is a technique that authors use to drop hints or clues about what will happen later, thereby helping to build suspense and prepare readers for the outcome. The story The Monkey's Paw begins with a dark and stormy night, which creates a sense of foreboding in the minds of the readers. The entire part 1 is full of many dialogues and statements which create a sense of mystery and foreboding. For example, when Herbert asks the Major whether he had had his 3 wishes, he replies yes, but his blotchy face whitens. Similarly, the information that he shares with them, that the first person who wished his third wish was for death, creates further suspense in the story. After making the first wish, the kind of silence that settles upon the 3 members of the White family is an exclusive example of foreshadowing. Now let's discuss situational irony. Situational irony results when the outcome of a situation is exactly opposite to what the reader might have expected, often creating a surprise ending or an unusual twist of the plot. In the story, after Mr. White makes his first wish, we expect them to get the money, but not in the way they actually do. What happens is exactly the opposite. They do get the money, but at the cost of their very son. So instead of bringing happiness and joy, their wish had actually brought them sorrow and taken away the joy of their family. Besides this, it is also ironical that Mrs. White, who initially did not believe in the power of the monkey's paw, forces her husband to make the second wish to bring her son back. So the story is full of irony. With this, I, Trishla Jain, hope that you have understood the story well and would be able to identify foreshadowing and situational irony. Thank you.